All right, guys, so we just got done with the Alpinestar. We are now gonna do the POD K4. And comparing to the others that we have today, this is the most expensive brace. It is also the lightest. And by the looks of it, it's the slimmest, right? The lowest profile. So this might be like the most racy feel if you're wearing super tight athletic pants. So excited to try this, but truth be told, this is the brace years ago that I did tear my ACL in. So I am conscious of that today as well, and I can break that down later how that happened, because this does have the hinge system, right? So these are, I think they're called tendons. So it's beneficial, right? You get a good snap back from the knee brace. But with that can also, if you don't properly almost maintain your brace, check on these things, it can lead to stuff happening. So by all means, it still is a good brace, but that is just something in my mind and giving you guys some real feedback as to why I now wear the Mobius. All right, so arguably I would say that this does have a better feeling initially than the Alpinestar putting your pant on. Seems like there's less points that are kind of pinching, when you bend your leg, you're not getting an uneven feel from one of the straps, so that is nice. So overall they feel pretty stable. Weight distribution of when you have the straps tight and you move, so far pretty good. One thing I do want to touch on is, even though some might look lower profile than others, they're very similar. I wear a pretty snug pant in my thigh here, and they're all the same region of tightness, on top of the brace, right? So I don't think that anything's maybe too much bigger in upper thigh or in your lower calf here, because I haven't had to adjust my boots now on all three of them. Do notice a little bit bigger of like a pocket, feeling my knee here with the different caps that you have. But, to each their own. I think nothing is so far one way or so far the other that, okay, it feels like you have nothing on and it feels like you have the most bulky brace on. They're all pretty similar, and I think now it's really breaking down the details as to how this pod versus the Alpinestar versus the Mobius is going to pinch in different areas, or maybe you like the straps better, or how it feels on the inside of your knee. So as we ride, we start to break that down a little bit more too, but overall similar profiles, not one too much bigger than the other. All right, we've got the pod braces on now, so we're going to go out, spin some laps, see how these feel compared to the other two. So the pod is a good brace. I did, back in the day, I did hurt my knee in one of these, so I was a little skeptical, right? But with anything, they continue to adapt, they continue to change, it continues to get better. The pod is different than these two in the hamstring-like, tendon-like thing here in the inside of the knee, or inside and outside per se. So that's an interesting thing, because it gives it a nice, snap back feel. It almost just seems like another knee on your knee. And I really do like having 4 individual straps similar to the Mobius. The Alpinestar, that's where I didn't love the strap system, because they're intertwined and it's kind of one big one that has then 2 straps over. So I like having the separation here. And again, I like having a wider strap. It just gives it a little bit more brace, so that as you're cranking down on that thing, I want my braces tight. I like to feel secure, I don't want them to move. So the tighter you go with the bigger strap, it feels better than when you go really tight with a thin strap. You get more of a digging sensation into your leg. So the straps are better. The overall fit of this brace is very good. It is slim up top, which I really do like. That's one thing with this, the Mobius, it is a little bit of a thicker up, on the thigh feeling. And so this is a little slimmer, but I don't love the two, the double layer feeling here on the knee cap. It just seems like it's kind of gonna catch at some point. It's gonna catch your gear in there, and like I talked about earlier, when you squat down and then your pant catches, and then it creates this binding when you're trying to extend, and so that's no fun. But overall, it is a very good brace. It is comfortable. I think the structure is good. I don't get any any big pressure points on the inside of my knee, the outside, thigh, etc. from the frame of the brace. Still, I would love wider straps. Maybe this is a personal thing. Like I said, everyone's knees are different, but I do want to be critical of, of the little things and the different feelings when you're going from one to another. So, comparing these 3 here, if I had to put this in a place, this is number 2.